What the fuck? So here I was, on Micro Center, specking out a build, all going good and well until... RAM! RAM! The fucking RAM! $2,000 from a $1,700 PC without RAM to $2,000. I truly had no want to create a YouTube channel until that moment right there. I just needed a place where I can discuss this nightmarish hell of the RAM crisis of 2026 and on and on. Oh my gosh, please, let's hope not. Alright, RAM. Let's talk RAM. Random access memory. A core needed component of a computer that has had the biggest price hike pretty much ever. The data reports that the price of RAM has increased by 700% over the last 4 years. I mean, look at this chart. Disgusting, vile, sickening. I mean, what is that? Alright, let's start breaking this down. What and why is RAM? Trust me, I'm an unemployed CS student. RAM is an acronym for Random Access Memory, which is a short-term memory of a computer. It's simply the most short-term immediate storage for the computer, holding things like your browser tabs, the game you're playing, its map, textures, etc., unsaved work, and even a majority of the operating system itself. Computers can't function without it, and neither can AI. But you probably knew that already. It's been a well-known fact that AI, yes, the one and only artificial intelligence, is the biggest culprit of the RAM crisis. But I'd love to break down what that really means, along with some of the other reasons RAM is so crazy right now, including possible solutions that are happening right this very moment. But yes, let's begin with the forsaken one. AI, the almighty RAM eater. According to industry professionals, 70% of global memory will be eaten by AI this year. Of course, I'm going to link all sources, they're going to be labeled and everything all in the description. But 70%, that leaves what, 100 minus 70% for us consumers? 30%? Consumers will have access to merely 30% of the entire supply of RAM, all because of these AI data centers. Though it is worth noting that this is specifically high-end DRAM, dynamic random access memory, which basically all versions of modern RAM is anyway. Though modern systems and those video games we all love really require us consumers of tech to need high-end RAM as well. In all honesty, us gamers are really getting the shit into the stick. With console prices skyrocketing, looking at few Xbox and PS5, hitting prices that not even the companies like Valve want. But RAM is just too damn expensive. And the companies making RAM aren't exactly riding to the rescue. This isn't just hitting us broke college students and DIY PC builders. Valve, the company that owns Steam, wanted to sell their new Steam machine at $750. It launched at over $1,000. Why? Well, in an interview with Gamers Nexus, a Valve engineer straight up admitted there's no contracts, no negotiating. RAM makers give them a price each month? Yes or no, and if you say no, they will never talk to you again. Even big companies like Valve are getting screwed by these RAM makers. This is not okay, but this is actually what's happening. Hell, we are still facing the horrors from Micron. The betrayal upon us committed by Micron a few months ago are still stinging and feeding this damn crisis. In early 2026, Micron Technology officially discontinued its crucial consumer brand. All that means is that Micron, a company who held like 22% of the market share of all DRAM, had killed its consumer retail brand, shifting its chips towards OEMs and, you guessed it, AI. So not only is consumer RAM being bought up and out by these data centers, the companies like Micron left you and me. Micron didn't leave the market, they really left you and me, the consumer, the PC builder, the gamer. The chips still get made, you and I just can't buy them anymore. They go to OEMs and AI data centers now, and the DIY shelf gets nothing. Micro Center, Newegg, all without Micron's crucial branded RAM sticks. Okay, let me calm down. My business minder is not required to tell you though, this is not good for us at all. And here's a key part that almost nobody talks about. I haven't seen anybody really speak about this, and it's a core part of this crisis. It's not just that AI is buying up all the memory, it's that AI memory is insanely wasteful to make. The chips AI needs, something called HBM, high bandwidth memory, eat about 4 times the silicon per gigabit. Micron themselves admitted it. Every single bit of HBM they make costs them 3 bits of normal RAM they now can't make. That's why the market can't possibly keep up. Simply imagine a factory. This factory normally makes 4 sticks of gaming RAM. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, it can only make 1 AI module instead. Those 4 sticks of gaming RAM? Gone. If you want to see the actual deep breakdowns of all this HBM stuff, I'll provide the link to the report by the IEEE in the description. It's definitely worth a read, at least check it out. Though, to add more to the point of the companies hating us, there's also a bit of a topic I'd love to do a future deep dive on. The intentional price fixing and gouging. I didn't hear about this until I was researching for this video, but apparently, currently, as in right now, a new California lawsuit accuses the 3 companies that dominate DRAM and NAND production of conspiring to exploit those conditions and artificially inflate prices. Actually insane. This crisis is deeper than people give it credit, though this RAM cartel shenanigans going on is something I'd love to tackle on its own dedicated deep dive. It's like we need price fixing on top of everything else. Regardless, many want to point to AI being the only problem. Although it is by far the biggest, there are actually some other smaller compounding issues that are not often talked about. DDR4 versus DDR5. In absolutely inconvenient timing with AI's munching of RAM, the industry standard RAM has been switched from the previous DDR4 to now DDR5, which is, overall, a really good thing. Listen, I'm a fiend for pros and cons lists, so let's look at some DDR4 pros. First of all, they're cheap to make. The manufacturing has been optimized since it's been the standard for years. Cheap to make, easy to make, that's all there is to it. It runs on the platforms most people already own. No new motherboard or CPU is needed. Now let's check out some of the cons. Slower. DDR4 tops out around 3200 megatransfers per second standard versus DDR5's 4800 base. Basically, it's just much slower than the DDR5. DDR4 is currently a dead platform. Basically, Intel and AMD processors exclusively support DDR5 now, so there is no future for DDR4. And the big one, it was executed by its own makers. Samsung, SK Hynix, and Micron all ended DDR4 between late 2025 and early 2026, explicitly because the wafer capacity is more profitable making DDR5 and HBM, not because DDR4 stopped working. With the absurd result that now, the scarce DDR4 may cost more than DDR5. Basically, DDR5 is just way more profitable and AI chips are way more profitable than DDR4. Now let's check out DDR5. Fast. Like I said before, 4800 megatransfers base with 6000 plus commonly found. I mean, that shit is fast. It has good error handling directly built into the DRAM. And finally, the most obvious one, it is the future. Every single new platform lives here in DDR5. Nothing is built for DDR4 anymore. It is all DDR5. Now let's hit some of the cons. DDR5 is more expensive to manufacture. It has denser nodes plus a power management chip on every single module. That is expensive and resource heavy to build. It requires a full platform swap. You need a new board, a new CPU. The upgrade is an entire rebuild. It arrived at the worst possible moment. DDR5's rollout is the whole reason why DDR4 was killed. But now AI is eating the entire capacity of DDR5, so us consumers get nothing. So clearly DDR5 wins in almost all cases. And that is the one that all of us, and the big fish, want and need. And now you can't escape to DDR4 either. It's slower, it has no future, and thanks to the execution done by those companies, the old stuff is somehow getting more expensive. There is no budget option anymore, there is no exit anymore, it is not a legitimate option for builds and systems. DDR4 is dead. Well, so we think. Due to DDR5 being newly adopted, the supply of it is not nearly as large as the previous DDR4. Though, about that possibly earlier, there actually might be a solution created by, shockingly, and I can't believe I'm saying this fucking company's name in a positive light, Meta. Meta. Yes, Facebook Meta. They may have found a temporary solution to alleviate some of this crisis. It isn't really a choice out of kindness though, just more of a logical business decision, but I'll take any solution we can get. Every 3 to 5 years, Meta does an entire wipe of servers, but the RAM inside the servers lives for 7 to 10. So basically, they are dumping tons and tons and tons and tons of working DDR4 RAM with at least 2 to 5 years of life left, creating genuine e-waste and the largest RAM shortage in history. So, their solution is one that helps them most, but also offers us consumers a possible light at the end of the tunnel. So basically, Meta is invested in this new chip. This new chip is called Vistara. Vistara is pretty much a brand spanking new chip that uses working DDR4 memory to make it work with DDR5 only systems. So basically what that means is, this chip lets you use DDR4 in DDR5 only systems. Massive. For you true technical viewers and computer architecture connoisseurs, I'm going to put here a Meta release design schema of the system. I'm not going to break down or anything, but I'm putting it here just if you want to see it. Anyway, the reason why this is a pretty genius move is that not all server data is hot, which just means in use at all times. Most is asleep or cold. So while that data sits on the older, slower DDR4, since the slowness doesn't matter for cold data, the hot data is on DDR5. This allows both to work together with little to no caveat. The hard truth of the matter, though, is that although this is a massively positive attempt at helping with the RAM crisis, it only helps Meta. Us consumers will get the trickle-down effects of more DDR5 supply, since Meta will need less, due to this chip. But it still doesn't directly help or affect us. Vistara is a temporary fix for Meta, that we can get some effect from, some help from, some alleviation from. Though it does show promise that DDR4, which was killed by the industry, is now being forced to be resurrected from a shallow grave. With some production restarted and even Intel hinting at new DDR4 boards, the industry might be adopting to working with DDR4 as opposed to keeping it dead and gone. In all honesty, I feel like they don't have much of a choice. It's either you have no DDR5, or you find a way to make DDR4 work. The last positive point I want to hit, as I don't want to be all doom and gloom, is a tentative hope that in late 2027 to 2028, Micron's new FABs and boys start actually producing. Good job, Idaho, potatoes and RAM. With more New York around 2030. Minute at Wamp here. Just found out it's pronounced Boise. Sorry, Idaho. But even Micron admits that won't fix things overnight, and honestly, the $30 RAM kits today are probably just gone. Patut. They're just never again. Though the realistic hope isn't for cheap RAM. It's more so, please, just stop getting worse. Long story in about 11 minutes short. AI ate the supply. The companies helped. They killed the cheap option, and now they're literally resurrecting it from the trash. The hope? Some relief. Maybe 2028. Please. 2028. Please, please, please. 2 years. Alright. That's enough talking about this. Drop in the comments the worst RAM price you've ever seen. And if you bought before the spike, brag. Please. I need to feel something since there's no chance I'm building that damn PC that caused this whole video. Subscribe if this caught your interest because this crisis isn't going anywhere until 2028 at the earliest. Which means I've got at least 2 years of content. Along with that fucking RAM cartel. It's gonna be a long 2 years.